Good evening, everybody. We're talking Chat GPT, what it means for people in Windsor, Essex, and really across the world as work is being revolutionized. We'll talk about the little bit of a hiatus I've had over the last couple of weeks, celebrating a milestone, and I am so happy my son is finally getting into this. This is episode 105 of season 3 of the Arms Bumanlag project, and it starts right now. So, how are you? Welcome to the show. It is the end of April. It is the 25th of April, 2023. And like I said in the intro, 105 episodes and counting of the Arms Boom Like project, wherever you get your podcasts or you do your live streaming. We are live this evening on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can catch up on past episodes on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We're all over the place. You can even check out my YouTube channel too. Ran into some fantastic folks this week. We had some work done at the house. I mean, this could be a whole separate topic for another conversation. And please, as we're live, chime into the live stream. Love to hear from folks here in Windsor, Essex about what's on your mind. I had some work done at our house, and the contractor who came in, Craig, awesome guy, was telling me about his parents. And his parents apparently remember me from my days on CHWI TV. And he had asked if I had anything to sign to give mom and dad. And I don't have anything really to sign or give away, but I did write out a nice handwritten thank you card to them, because it's always nice to hear that when people remember me from some of my work I've done over the last 20 years in the broadcasting sense here in Windsor. I appreciate those folks. I appreciate the people who have been with my family through all the journeys and the trials and tribulations that we've done. So I wrote out this card to them, and it just turned out to be a really great therapeutic episode for me, because I was just kind of reminiscing, giving these folks an update on what I've been doing over the last couple of years and all the pivots in careers that I've made, and where I'm at currently now doing this show and working with the Humane Society from a charitable perspective, and doing real estate and providing consultancy work. I'm busy. I've got the 2 kids, and I'm writing about my kids, Olivia and Liam, and I'm like, man, like time is going by so very quickly. But I just want to give a shout out to Craig and his parents. And he had said, you know what, Arms, they were really excited. They didn't know you did a show. I said, yeah, man, it's on Facebook. It's on the YouTube. Some folks aren't up to that stuff. So, hopefully they tune in. So a big shout out to them. I do appreciate their time. And I really enjoy doing this show, and we'll continue to do it over the next little bit. Richard chiming in the live stream saying, hey, Arms, keep up the great work. Richard, my man. Some of the folks down at Unifor, big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching the show. Richard, always a supporter of the project. Tina, well done. Tina, you too. Thank you for tuning in to the show today. So yeah, generally we do the show bi-weekly live. I have my feature interview. We have a brand new format for season 3. Kind of talk about some of the news, talk about some current event topics, different things on my mind, and then we have a feature interview. Last couple of weeks didn't have that because a couple of reasons. One, we had a holiday coming up, and 2, I don't know if you knew this, but I launched a sort of companion show to this particular show, and I'm really excited about it because we've got 2 episodes in the can, and it really is Windsor Essex meets home garden television. Yeah, get advice from the very best. It is my version of Ask an Expert. And these are businesses, contractors, professionals in the Windsor Essex area who join me on a bi-weekly basis for about 15, 16 minutes, bite-sized interviews, shows on different topics. We had Krista Dufour from Dufour Dental Hygiene and GoSmile.ca to kick things off at the beginning of the month. And then just recently sat down with Cody Howard from the Spider Guys Pest Control. And both of those podcasts and video podcasts are up on my Facebook page and on YouTube and Spotify too. So they're mixed in with the Arms Bumanlag project. We've got so many different businesses and contractors and professionals to showcase over the next couple of weeks. I cannot wait to share those folks with you. So launching that show, getting that going, and then just realizing, my God, it's my daughter's birthday. Today, April 25th, 2022, a year ago today, I welcomed my little daughter, Olivia Rose Bumanlag, to the world. Actually, I didn't really welcome her. My wife did, because she's the one who did the labor. We as guys just show up, really, and just say, honey, what do you need? But Yeah, my little girl is 1. I posted some photos up on my Facebook page and on some of the social media feeds too. Just love her to pieces. Love my son, love Liam, and it's just a different vibe with the dad and daughter, right? Olivia is just growing leaps and bounds too. She's a pretty good sleeper. Generally speaking, she sleeps like a rock through the night. Both my kids do. But the last 3 weeks since we've approaching her first birthday, she's really had that sleep regression, and we've noticed a huge jump with her in terms of her development. She army crawls like she's in Saving Private Ryan. Like she's got like a motor on her. It's awesome. But she also is really now starting to climb on things and hang things, and then she'll like kind of get up on her feet. And if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. You're hanging off the ledge, and she starts to cry or kind of fake cry because she can't figure out how to get down. And tonight, actually, before the show, Liam, my son, in his room has a toy box filled with stuffed animals, as most kids do. And I was in our bathroom, Carrie was in our room, and Liam was in the living room. Olivia was climbing, literally climbing, and the toy box has got to be a foot off the ground, climbing on that toy box. And I come in the room, I'm like, oh my God, she is like literally climbing. And called it for Carrie. We took some video of it too. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like 1 year ago today. And that's it for me and Carrie. Generally speaking, we're I kind of talked to Carrie earlier this month. I'm like, you know what? I think maybe we should try to have more kids. What do you think? And she's like, nope, nope, that ain't happening. And I'm like, because really when you have one kid, it's like it's any child is life changing. I want to preface this whole conversation with that. It's a life changing experience. When you have one kid, I think it's an awakening for folks because it's like, oh my God, now you're responsible for another human being, right? When you have two, you're pretty much done for it because now it's like we're moving from one kid to another, so you might as well have a third. That's my take on it. Kids form a little society; they start to take care of each other. But no, anytime I got an inkling, like, oh my God, I want to have another kid, like I just Carrie goes to me, she's like, think about how busy you are now, and just amplify that with another peanut. So a dog in the future, maybe a cat. I don't know. Maybe we get an animal when Olivia's like 3 or 4 years old and Liam's like 8 or 9. Oh my God. Be nice to have an animal again. If you've been following me through the years, you know that I had a husky at one point at my parents' house when I was living with my parents, and I had a cockapoo I used to talk about all the time on the air called Benson, who had passed just before the pandemic. And obviously, as I got busier with my career, couldn't really have that time to take care of Benson. So my parents actually adopted him, and he was a good dog, very good dog. But yeah, Olivia is 1. I'm like, oh my God, where did the time go? And here we are. A couple of comments in here. My good friend Marianne saying, happy birthday, Olivia. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tina says, that is so cool. Happy birthday to her. Laura chiming in on the stream. Good to see you, Laura. Good evening. Good evening to you, my friend. And Marianne says, listen to your wife. Listen, I could get into details about how I've listened to my wife over the last month. I'm not going to on the air yet. I may talk about it. I may even have somebody on. But yeah, we're not having kids. No more kids. 2. We got a boy and a girl. We're done. Now we just need a pet. Deborah says, happy birthday to Olivia. And yeah, appreciate that. We have the big party for Olivia. Like we celebrated today. My grandmother, Olivia's great grandmother, came over, and she's still very cautious because of COVID. So we have the big party coming up this Sunday at our place. And she wanted to come over, just get ahead of the crowds, right? And Olivia and her were playing all day. It was great to see. Really, really great to see. So yeah, 1-year-old. My son, Liam, who is the big 5, now is becoming a little Mr. Follow Dad around. So as soon as he gets up in the morning to the minute he gets home from school, he's always asking me, what's up with this? What's up with that? Can you tell me a little bit more about this, Dad? What do you like? So we've been bonding a lot more over the last month and a half, which I really appreciate because he is really becoming his own little dude. And as you follow along on social media, my son is just obsessed with Spider-Man and the Avengers and things like of that nature. He hasn't really taken to this one particular franchise that, again, I have loved from day one, and that is Star Wars. hence my mug this evening for The Mandalorian, which is one of the best shows on Disney Plus, and of course, my Darth Vader helmet. So he's really taken to Star Wars, and this sort of fascination with the whole space opera franchise has made me feel really good. I've said many times here on the seasons of this show that, if you would have said to Arms in 1997 at Holy Names High School, who loved Star Wars, but like was a geek for it, that it would be so mainstream and so popular, I'd say you're crazy. But here we are in 2023 and it's all over the place. So Liam and I have been kind of catching up on the original movies. This evening during dinner, we watched The Empire Strikes Back, which was fantastic. And also Return of the Jedi later on this evening. But I've got I can't see it here in my office, but I've got a replica. They have these replica lightsabers that you can buy, and they're quite collectible, quite expensive. It was a little bit of a treat for myself around Christmas time. But I'm a huge Darth Vader fan. Darth Vader is my guy, right? I firmly believe Darth Vader is fantastic. Great character. I bought his lightsaber. It's like movie quality. So Liam would pick it up and play with it in my office and say, "Dad, this is so cool. The light goes up and down, makes those kind of sounds." So I wanted to get him something because he's got like the cheap plastic lightsabers, but he didn't really take to them. So today, Carrie's like, "Can you go pick him up from school?" And I said, yeah, no problem. So I'm kind of hanging out in the driveway today. He gets off at school usually about 3:30, and I'm waiting for the Amazon guy to show up. And Carrie's like, "What the hell are you doing? You got to go pick up Liam." And I said, "I'm waiting for the Amazon guy." So he pulls out of the Amazon car or truck, whatever, this long, slender box. And Carrie's like, "What did you buy now?" I'm like, "I spoil our kid. I do. I spoil my son." I found on Amazon, you can find anything on Amazon, like replicas of like the lightsabers, but they're built for kids, right? So it actually has the light that goes up and it has the sound effects. You can change the color. It's pretty awesome. It wasn't that expensive either. So Carrie's like, "He doesn't need more toys." I'm like, "He needs a sword that he can duel with his father. For I am Darth Vader and he can be Luke Skywalker." And you should have seen Liam's face when I picked him up from school and that lightsaber was in the truck. He just lit up like a lightsaber. And you can choose what color. He thought that was so cool. You could do blue. It's a really cool toy for kids if they're into Star Wars. So we literally spent from the time he got home until the time dinner was ready having lightsaber fights in the basement. And I got to tell you, I had an absolute blast. So I had said to him, I'm like, "Dude, what do you want to do for Halloween this year? Maybe we go to Star Wars." He's like, "Yeah, I'll go as Luke Skywalker. It'd be pretty cool." He goes, "Liv could be Yoda." Could see that. "And Mom could be Princess Leia." And he goes, "Dad, you're going to be Darth Vader." I said, "Yeah." But it makes my heart very happy. And Carrie's like, "Well, what if he's not into it?" I'm like, "He's into it. He loves it. Loves Star Wars." And there's so much content to watch, so much to catch up. Like a lot of the new stuff I'm not even caught up on. So it makes me very, as a nerdy dad who's grown up on Star Wars, it warms my 41-year-old heart to see my 5-year-old son say to me, "Dad, may the force be with you." So there you go. So a little bit of chit chat about the fam life. Anyways, back in the saddle of things, we got a lot of great guests coming up in the next couple of months. Can't wait to share those with you. Wanted to talk about something that came out in the Windsor Star today, and I thought it was something that, for surprise, was very positive in regards to what's happening to the Windsor Essex area. Another recurring theme here on the show is we often talk about the positive. I say, negative news sells. Let's focus on the positive. And I've been saying for the last couple of years, we are on the cusp of an economic renaissance here in the Windsor Essex area. So the Star has an article with the Amherstburg Deputy CAO and Director of Development Services, Melissa Osborne, talking to reporters about investment possibilities at Allied Chemical. You drive into town in Amherstburg, it's, the Allied Chemical property is overlooking the water. It's been vacant since, 2004. And they're talking about, marketing this particular property, getting people interested in it for the battery plant, because you've got rail, it's close to water. You could ship things up via rail for parts. And I'm thinking, as an Amherstburg resident for the last 5 years, man, if we get an investment like that, this place is going to be hip hopping. And, kudos to the Windsor Economic Development Corporation, for going out there, sort of selling Windsor Essex But my God, there's so much opportunity coming down the pipe, folks. And then from a real estate perspective, I tell people all the time, once and people talk about the battery plant that's coming up on Banwell. And if you've not been out to Banwell, outskirts of Windsor, into Tecumseh, this thing is coming. It's here, and it's building, but it's going to be huge for this area. So I hope we are doing, and I know we are, but we are selling this area to be what it can be and what it should be, because it's going to get crazy, I think, in the next 3 to 4 years, generally speaking, with the influx of people. Just my spider sense tinkling. Mary says, "Oh, come on, arms carry. What's one more?" Yeah, Aunt Mare, we're not. No more kids. We're done. Marianne says, "Making memories. That's what it's about." Carrie will tease me. She's like, "Oh my God, you're like a giant 41-year-old 5-year-old." And I'm like, I love nerdy stuff. I do. I'm not a sports guy. I've always been into sort of that kind of stuff, but it makes me happy when the kids are happy and having fun. Thank you. Oma, appreciate that. I try to be a good dad. Not perfect, far from it, but I try to be a good dad to my kids. And really, that's what it's all about, right? When you have kids, I think that you're not perfect by no means, like, I got a lot of flaws, man. I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to admit, but I do love that little boy and little girl who are sleeping right above me right now, more than life itself, and I will do whatever it takes to provide them with a good life. So that's it. It's funny how your priorities change, right? As you continue to you grow and you kind of figure out things. And that was kind of in that letter to kind of preface all of this conversation to those folks who were the parents of this contractor who had come into our house to do a little bit of work, who had missed me from my television days. I said, if you were to go to the 2017 version of me and say, you're going to have 2 kids, one's going to have some medical issues, but he's going to be okay. You're going to have a daughter who just is like a little koala bear, a son who just loves everything that you do and wants to be a part of your life. I'd say, you're crazy. I don't have time for kids. You tell me that now, that is a good life, because these kids grow up so quickly, and it's so crucial to be a part of their lives and be involved. Liam has shown some real skill at soccer, and I really feel that he's going to love getting into soccer. And listen, I'm not a sports guy at all. I suck at sports. I'm like the least sport. Like, I'll go to a Tigers game and have a couple drinks and have some fun. I'll go to a Pistons game, sure. Don't ask me what the hell is going on. I don't know. I'm there for a good time. But I'm not athletic at all. So for me, it's like whatever they want to get into, I'm down. Show some support, Marianne chimes in on the stream. You never know what life is going to throw at you. Embrace it. Yeah, that's been my mantra, honestly, since 2017, since I made all these different pivots professionally wise and certainly personally wise, is to just kind of run with the punches. And you get to learn a little bit about yourself over the way. You get to learn about who you are as a person, what your values are. For me, it's connecting with people. That's what I love to do. That's, people are my passion. What's yours is sort of like a cheesy tagline I put on my Facebook sometimes, but it's true. I love to find out about people. I like to talk to people. I like to make people feel like they're valued, because people are. I think you should have that connection with folks, because we're all on the same planet together, as cheesy as it sounds, right? And you don't know what people are going through until you walk a mile in their shoes. So, and nobody's perfect, right? We've all have shortcomings. And if we can just kind of help each other and get through this, whatever this lies ahead, I think the world will be in a better place. That's my little kumbaya moment here on the show. A couple of things to get to before we get going here. Want to talk about a kumbaya moment for anyone looking to support a fantastic cause. The Windsor Essex County Humane Society is launching an annual fundraiser you might have remembered over the years. It's called Strays on Street Corners. And this will be happening the first weekend of June on street corners right across Windsor, Essex. Our volunteers will be out in full swing looking for donations. If you can spare some change to make change, all proceeds will go to animal welfare and well-being here in Windsor, Essex. So if you'd like to find a little bit more about Strays on Street Corners, Really encourage you to check out the website, windsorhumane.org. There's a banner on there. You can sign up a team if you've got a corporate team, a business that would like to solicit donations from folks. We'd love to hear from you. And that'll be happening again the first weekend of June here in Windsor, Essex. And I think I'm going to set up shop here in Amherstburg, right across from Canadian Tire. I think that's where I'm going to be stationed at some point during that weekend. So I'm going to try to bring out some special people with me too, some of my crew. Don't know if it's going to be, I doubt it's going to be the kids, but I might have some tricks up my sleeve if you're out in the Amherstburg area. So it should be a lot of fun. windsorhumane.org to find out information on that. So tonight, as we approach the 20-minute mark here on the show, we want to get to our featured interview. Last month, I had the amazing opportunity to work with my good friends over at We Tech Alliance and host their podcast series for Tech Week in Windsor and Essex County. Shout out to Yvonne, Adam, and the entire crew for making that happen. And I got to meet some really cool people doing some incredible things here in Windsor, Essex. Now, if you follow the news and you're watching the television and people are talking about Chat GPT, hey, Chat GPT is taking our jobs. Chat GPT is doing this. Chat GPT is doing that. What is Chat GPT? For me, something that I swear by, I've been using it since its inception. A lot of people are wondering about this artificial intelligence, what it is, what will it do, will it take jobs, and how does this look for the future of work? There is a local expert who is well-versed in the realm of artificial intelligence. I sat down with Dr. Philip Olla to talk a little bit about what Chat GPT is and what it means for you.
The best way to think about this in layman's terms is Chat GPT or GPT technology. It stands for generative pre-trained, and it's basically an AI model that has been trained on vast amounts of data. So what this allows the model to do is to understand the data in what we call natural language processing methodology. So it basically understands everything it's read. And what we can do is we can then interact with our AI model and ask it questions and get the data back in a understandable English or any language format. So it basically allows you to access like the volumes of data that's all over the world on the internet, in the archives, and be able to ask the AI model a question and get that data back in a format that makes sense to you.
What are some of the most impressive applications of Chat GPT that you've seen so far in your experience? And how is this really sort of disrupting so many different, I would think, areas, Doctor?
Yeah, so the beauty of Chat GPT and GPT technology is that it really is a case of, what are you trying to access from that data? So some of the really cool things I've seen span all domains. So for example, I've seen some prompting of the AI model where you can ask it to write some computer code. And you can then take that computer code, you can run it in an environment, and it will actually run and generate the data that you need. I've seen some amazing data analytics codes that has been created by ChatGPT. I've seen some scripts where you ask it to write you a creative writing script, and it will create you an amazing long story. I've seen some text to video where it would actually create the GPT-4 technology actually creates some videos and images as well. So I've seen some amazing videos created by just writing in a text prompt and getting a video back. So literally almost anything that you can think of, any task that we would want to do as a human in all the domains, there is literally somebody writing a prompt for that can then run into the AI, and then it can bring that data back. So I'll give you a couple of very specific examples. So in the healthcare field, I've seen where you can point the Chat GPT to a specific data set. So this is where it gets interesting, where the problem we have is the technology that runs on the internet, the Chat GPT. If it doesn't know something, it will make it up, right? So it's great for creative writing, but if you're a scientist or a medical doctor and you want to use it, then you might be a little bit wary because it might make something up. But if you can point the technology to a domain of knowledge that is very accurate, it's credible and it's accurate, and you can say to ChatGPT, using all the words and all the knowledge look at this data set and tell me, why are these people here getting sick? right? And it can go through that and it can give you insight on, these people are getting sick because of this, and the treatment plan is this, and the best way to diagnose it is that. Right? We don't quite know what it's reading and what it's doing, but we know that it has the mind which is way more advanced than ours, that it can see the insights in that data. So we will see a lot of scientific and medical innovations coming out of being able to link our credible data sources to the language, the natural language processing of Chat GPT. That is really where we're going to see a lot of advances in the science and the medical domain. One industry that is going to be disrupted the most is education, because what you're seeing now is all over the world, a lot of institutions are banning ChatGPT. So it's being banned in the schools, it's being banned in universities. Universities coming up with policies as to why you can't use it and why you can't access it. And the reason for that is you can literally take your assignment, plug into ChatGPT, and it will write something that is pretty credible, right? So one of the biggest disrupted spaces will be education, and it doesn't mean, I think banning it might be a bit of an overreaction because it's happening so fast. But the reality is, over time, what we will have to do is we have to figure out how do we incorporate this disruptive technology into the education system, into the healthcare system, into the business system, because business is a low-hanging fruit for this kind of technology. It's where we're really going to start seeing the initial push, because it really increases the productivity of somebody using it. So my answer to that is it's really going to disrupt every space there is, especially education, healthcare, research, and the industry, manufacturing industry as well.
I was going to say, Doctor, too, as a marketer, somebody who markets, as soon as Chat GPT came out, and I've been playing with it, I've been messing around with it, it has made my work a lot more efficient
Yes.
in terms
Yeah.
of, writing copy script,
Yes.
even doing, emails where I'm like, I have to write an email to a particular person or a subsect of people I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
Some of the content that you can put in this is just absolutely incredible.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. And just to kind of follow up on that, so the tool that we've been building is really it's a pre-chat GPT. So it's what we call a prompt builder. And you figured out how to use chat GPT for your marketing and for your industry. And you will know that there are certain words that you use and there are certain phrases that you would use to be able to get the right response back. Now, that is not easy for a lot of people. A lot of people really struggle and they don't get the right things back from ChatGPT. They try it over and over and over again. So one of the things that we have built is a tool that builds your prompts for you based on what you're trying to do. So it works very well in the business. So using your copy, doing your adverts, doing your ads, doing your titles, doing your search engine, right, doing the email. So that's really, really low hanging fruit. But then moving from there, when we're looking at the coding, the data modeling, the creating ways to search literature and scientific data, that becomes a lot harder, right? So the tool we're kind of pulling together helps us, will help the user to craft the prompt that they need to be able to pull the right data back from the AI. And that really is where the future is. It's knowing how to interact with that technology to get the right data back.
So, in what ways do you think that ChatGPT and GPT-3 will continue to evolve and, say, improve the future, let's say 5, 10, 15 years down the road? And what kind of breakthroughs do you think we're going to be seeing generally on this?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, I think the idea of 5, 10 years down the road, that kind of analogy is gone. This technology is moving so fast that I would say the 5, 10 years is 5, 10 months, right? Because
Wow.
the progress is just phenomenal, and it's only going to speed up. The more people that jump on board, the more people that start paying, so that the cost of running the technology goes down, it's going to get faster. So to answer the question, over the next year or next year, 2 years, what we're really going to see is we're going to see the what I would call, and the two things. One is embedding. So where we are able to interface with the AI into our applications. So, not necessarily having two separate things, but the GPT-4, GPT-5, the LLMs, large language models, can actually come into your data set. So you're interacting with, say, you're programming or you're creating a video game. Instead of writing all that code, you're saying, I want to create an environment which looks like a space environment, and there are these objects that. So you literally are, instead of all that language and coding and modules, you're spending a couple of hours describing it, and then it creates it. So you're looking at basically bringing the technology into the different domains, and it will be the same for manufacturing. It's going to be the same for medicine. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is being able to create applications on top of the AI that create new markets, new industries, allows you to do new things very, very quickly. In the what we call the Industry 4.0, the physical cybersecurity like systems that we have in manufacturing, we are now going to be coming up with what we call an augmented approach. So the computers that we have in manufacturing and industry, they're not necessarily going to be working autonomous. We now have a way to be able to link in with our prompting to to control them better. So in future, what we are really seeing is we're seeing this separate AI that companies own, and we're going to be integrating and incorporating that into whatever we're doing. So it's going to create two types of kind of work industries. So you're going to have those that work with AI, and the systems that work using this kind of technology, and those that don't. And the reality is, those that don't are going to be at a significant disadvantage than the ones that are integrating this technology into their infrastructure, into their enterprises, and into their workflow. So the future is not 5, 10 years with it. The future is 1, 2 years. And then after that, we're going to be in a completely different state than what we are now.
So finally, Doctor, what advice would you give somebody who's interested in learning more about Chat GPT and GPT-3, or even working in the field of natural language processing?
Yeah. So my advice is very simple: learn to prompt. It is it's simple as that. Learn to write and create prompts. Understand how to get the best back from the AI. The AI is as smart or as stupid as your prompts. So you see a lot of people who I try to use it and they didn't give me the right thing back. No, you used the wrong prompts, right? Or you did not give the AI the right the right persona, right? You can say to the AI, you are Albert Einstein, you're trying to work on this problem, do this. Or you can say you're a comedian and you're working on this problem and do this. The outputs are going to be completely different, right? So anyone who has any interest whatsoever in being competitive in the future, you need to learn how to write an effective prompt. So that is my only advice, right? Don't start digging into how to create the most optimum AI algorithm, or trying to come up with an AI platform that's better than Chat GPT. No, that's useless. Like, so that ship has sailed, right? What you need to do is you need to figure out how to interface, integrate with this technology, and the best way to do that is by natural language. So learn to prompt. That's my advice.
Thank you to Dr. Philip Olla for joining me for a segment of Tech Talks that was back in March with my friends over at We Tech Alliance. Really crazy stuff what ChatGPT is doing and has done. Really interesting to use it in a very beneficial manner. Adriano Chodoli, good buddy of ours from Windsor Eats, says, OpenAI this week paid somebody on TaskRabbit to do the CAPTCHA for it. Even lied, saying it wasn't a computer, just had bad vision and was not able to see the images properly. That's the other thing with this AI stuff, though, right? It is kind of reminiscent of the whole Terminator franchise, right? It is. It's like, it's very, very, like, I love it. I'll be the first, like, Carrie, my wife, for our consultancy business and our communications business that we do, our PR business, Carrie, my wife, is the administrator for our business, and she handles the invoicing and scheduling and things like that. And I'm trying to get her to use Chat GPT. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's phenomenal once you know how to do it. And lo and behold, I say to Adriano, who's a good buddy of mine, this is just like Terminator T-1000, man. They're going to come. Arnold's going to show up. Get with me to the chopper. Probably won't be like that, I hope. But like Dr. Olla said, it is something that forward-thinking businesses and organizations will adopt and put into their current infrastructure of workflow, and the other ones who do not may go the way of the dinosaur. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's go to a couple more comments before we wrap up the show this evening. A. LeBlanc on LinkedIn says, great segment. Thank you. Appreciate it. Every episode of the Arms Bumanlag Project, we do have a feature interview with somebody that I speak to in our community about a variety of different things. Could be different events, different initiatives, fundraising, could be topical things like Chat GPT as well. So thank you for that. Sammy, my man, what is up? Thanks for joining us on Facebook, Sammy. We appreciate it. Giselle says, hello. Hello to you. Make sure to tune in, Giselle, or even rewind this segment in the entire show, or go catch past episodes on my YouTube channel. Marianne, one last comment for today's show. I'm a little wary. I would think that this is going to make a lot of people not think at some point. Again, that is a very valid concern. What a world we live in 2023, right? This is why the power of people connection is so important, and I think is going to be a very sought after commodity as we continue through this digital age. Folks, it has been an absolute pleasure to be back with you live. I do appreciate your time, carving out a bit of time with me to spend on Tuesday nights live here on the show. Our next show, for those of you so inclined, as I move my old-fashioned calendar here to tell you, will be on Tuesday, May 9th. And I am very happy and very excited to say that Essex Mayor Sherry Bondi will be my guest. And we've got a number of things to talk about in regards to the beautiful town of Essex and what's been happening there. Sherry is a new mayor, certainly no stranger to town council, but new mayor. A lot of things happening in Essex. So Mayor Bondi will be my guest on the show next, a couple Tuesdays from now, I believe. May 9th, anyways. She'll be here on the Arms Bumanlag Project. In the meantime, make sure to check out my website, armsbumanlag.com. You can reach me anytime on WhatsApp. Really easy to get a hold of me. That information is right on my Facebook banner. You can text me anytime, and I will see you back with another episode of Ask an Expert in a few weeks, and then back here with the Arms Bumanlag Project. In the meantime, take care of each other. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and follow along on social media. It's always good to have you along for the ride. Thanks for watching.